What does it mean to make a profit? How do we make a profit in business? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So what does it mean to make a profit? Well, that means when we sell something for X price, our costs should be lower than that. The difference between there is actually profit. And that's right. That's basically what making a profit is. You take your sales price, what you sold for, minus your costs, which can be tons of different things. Your material cost, your labor cost, your burden costs, your fixed burden, your variable burdens. There's tons of different costs that get associated in a product or service. We add up all of those, plus our taxes and whatnot, and then we look at what our sales price is. And if our sales price out leverages that, well, guess what? That little piece, that's our profit. And there's different profit levels at different kinds of products and services. So how do we go about making a profit in business? Well, that's what we need to figure out, right? First, we need to figure out, what are we going to sell? What is our business going to be structured for? How are we going to come to market? Is the market very saturated in the product set that we want to make, which means we're a me too kind of product? Or are we the first of its kind? And unfortunately, sometimes you're the first of its kind and you're too early for the marketplace and people just don't understand it yet. That's happened in past. Like the gentleman who actually created the iPod and the iPhone and the Nest thermostat. Yeah, his first business, he made a product and it didn't launch well. Probably because the technology wasn't there yet to support his product. But he was unsuccessful at the beginning. Doesn't mean that as soon as you're unsuccessful at one time, you're not going to be successful in the future, but it's something to be cognizant of. So when we're getting into business, no matter what kind of business, I mean, there are tons of different products to sell, and there's tons of different services to provide. So we need to understand what it is we want to specialize. So that's the first thing. We need to do our homework. What is it that we're going to build or serve? Or how are we going to benefit society and customers better than the competition? What does the marketplace look like? We need to do studies to understand what's out there already. Because if we're just like the fourth person out there with the same product or service, how are we going to differentiate ourselves? So first thing we got to do is understand the market and how we can differentiate ourselves. Because if we're just the same as everybody else, well, now we're a commodity. And in the purchasing world, what a commodity is basically the same thing that we can leverage from a whole bunch of different suppliers to get a better price. And what happens to profit margins? Well, they start going like this. So we need to do our due diligence and study what we're going to do. The second thing we need to do is understand what the product really is going to do for the customers. We don't want to sell its features and benefits. And I teach this all the time when I am teaching people on sales. We do not sell features and benefits. We support the customer's needs. If we want to be successful in business and have a profitable business, we need to make sure that we do so by answering the customer's needs. So we have a product. Maybe it's a hole punch. Okay? There's tons of hole punches out there, so you're risking being a me too. But what does it really do? Maybe it's because people have carpal tunnel or arthritis and they can't push down on those things anymore and it's battery operated or something. Or it makes a cool sound or whatnot. What does it do and how is it meeting that customer's needs? The third thing we really need to do to make sure that we have a profitable business is not go and get all of these extra layers that we don't need yet. That's right. Sometimes we need to be the owner-operator that is doing all the bookkeeping and everything at the same time. And as we start getting bigger and bigger, we can start outsourcing things. Doesn't mean we have to hire people. We can outsource it to some other service providers. That's right. We can outsource or rent different things. Like, do you need to go spend money on a $10,000 copier, or could you just go to Kinko's or another place like Office Max or whatnot to run off copies for a little while until you grow big enough that you can actually afford it? We also don't want to go into debt. Debt is the killer of businesses, because what happens is we're working to sell something so we can pay off this debt. And there's a proverb out there that says the borrower is slave to the lender. So we get over leveraged with all this debt, we're going to end up faltering. And that's not going to make us profitable. So the more we can do it without leveraging debt, which typically takes a little longer, the better off we're going to be. If you want to do a study on it, look at Ramsey's Solutions. Totally debt-free. Their whole basis is helping people get out of debt and be successful. And they own tons of properties and buildings that are paid for in cash. And so when times get tough, they don't have to struggle as much. And they still want to make profit, and they continually do so with their workforce. And when you walk into that environment, man, that culture is totally different than a company that is leveraged by debt. The fourth thing we really want to do is make sure that we understand the customer as much as we can. So we can go out there and talk with our customers. Why did they buy our product and service? Yeah, that's right. Why did they do that? Well, they will tell us why it's helped them, how it's helped them. And they'll probably tell us why they've told other people to buy it. They'll probably also tell us what they don't like about it. So on version 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, we can fix those things. Just like Henry Ford said, I love my customers because they keep coming back and buying the next revision. Okay? We want to make sure that we're finding out what our customers want. Okay? So we have 4 different things we need to be cognizant of, and there's tons of different tutorials and you can start going into it. But the main purpose is we need to make sure that what we're selling for is higher than what our costs are. We do that, we're going to be profitable. And we don't just sit back and relax once we hit some good profit margins. We keep moving forward and bettering our product and service, and we'll be in business for the long haul. All right? Now, if you have any more questions about business, profiting, and whatnot, or sales, or leadership, feel free to reach out. My contact information is below. I'd be glad to help you guys get better at business. Now, if this video is helpful, hit like, share, subscribe, send it to somebody you think it might benefit. That's why I do these videos, to help you. We'll see you next time.